let's see a little more Tyler Thomas. Now, again, they've been behind. The Lions scored on their first drive. They were down 7-0, now down 14-7. So put the ball a little bit more in the air when you're behind.
Start the second quarter. Eskimo football at the Lion 46. Flag down, free play for Riley. And he looks on the corner, run for Stamps. And does he have it? No, incomplete.
Boy, Riley gave him a chance.
And Fred Stamps isolated on the newcomer at the strong side linebacker spot. Josh Johnson replacing Corey Banks.
Offside, BC number 79. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
But you saw that flinch at the line by Eric Taylor.
There's one of these examples, Chris, of how Edmonton puts Fred Stamps, who's normally into the boundary, to the wide field here to run this corner route. He does run it on Josh Johnson. And Riley gave him a shot. Johnson pulled it out of there.
1st and 5, Guyton reverses field, and here is Thomas, first carry, and it's a good one. Second level and brought down by Solomon Elimimian, the middle linebacker of the Lions. But a little dash by Thomas, who boasts sub 4.40 speed.
We just talked about how a little surprised that we haven't seen more of him, although the strength of the BC defense is in the interior of their defensive line, along with Kareem Smith and Solomon Elimimian. But there is a look at who Tyler Thomas is, and I'll tell you, folks, 4.39 is picking them up and putting them down. That's flat out speed.
We both had to hit Google to find out where Bacone is. Muskogee, Oklahoma. And there is Stamps, and he's tripped up by Dante Marsh. Touchdown, saving tackle, but 1st and goal, Edmonton at the 5 as Stamps has his first catch and a 23-yard gain.
And this is back where Fred Stamps normally is found, and that's into the boundary on the other side. So Mike Riley gave us a heads up on the fact that they want to be more multifaceted with their offense. Move people around a lot more. Make it difficult to double team one particular player. Get the running game involved as they are in this drive, and they're on the doorstep.
Like an improved Edmonton Eskimo Football Club. 1st and goal, inside the 5. Fake to Thomas. Pass is busted up. Intended for a Darius Bowman. And there's the veteran, Dante Marsh.
Yeah, we had to kind of Google search and check out exactly where the school was, but he's a big thing in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Minoki from Muskogee.
Yes, sir, and that's the front page of the athletic department there at the university, and they're going to be watching on ESPN 2 or 3, depending on where they find the game.
2nd and goal, 4 receivers to the near side. Riley, quarterback draw, and it got closed down in a hurry. And there's Eric Taylor to shut it down.
Wow, big play, and this is something that you got to believe Mark Washington prepared for when facing Mike Riley. That in the scoring zone, he is such a good runner. We told you early on that he led all quarterbacks. You get down in that area, quarterback draws a call that you know they go to, and that's good scouting.
Eric Taylor just signed a new contract extension. He's one of the Lions captains. Mark Washington, the new D coordinator, and it's a stop for his defense on the goal line. And the Lions continue to lead now by 4. CA and TSN go. Grouse Mountain in beautiful Vancouver, BC. Did my partner do the grouse grind to limber up for the game today?
No, but you know, we could do that next time we're out here.
Yeah,
well, you want to do that together? That is a workout. A favorite here in the Lower Mainland, the grouse grind.
Lions off to accept the kickoff from Brent Shaw. After the goal line stand by BC. Good boot drives Logan back to his 5. And Logan across the 25 before he gets buried. Nathan Kanya with the special teams tackle.
Good completion percentage for Kevin Glenn so far in this game, 6 of 8. Except the one interception, that by a defensive lineman.
See Kahari Jones there last year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Mike Benavides called Kevin Glenn when he was considering an offensive coordinator and asked him about Kahari Jones, and later after hiring Kahari Jones, he went to Kahari Jones and said, what about Kevin Glenn? Should we go after him from Ottawa? And both were able to help each other get jobs in BC.
Well, they've worked together before. Great mutual respect between the two, and as Mike Benavides mentioned in his press conference, maybe the trade of the century. It's a big one for the Lions, especially with Travis Lulay on the shelf. And Kahari Jones gets his opportunity to run an offense, and so far it looks like it's got lots of different options, certainly has lots of weapons. And remember, Manny Arsenault is on the shelf for probably 2 more weeks.
The Lions had 4 men in the backfield behind Glenn, and when they scattered, Glenn is taken down. And they are ruling that Kevin Glenn is down, and Marcel Young picked it up just in case. But pressure on Kevin Glenn, and the Eskimo defense gets the job done to force a 2 and out.
Right off the edge as he sort of starts at the linebacker spot as if he's over to cover down on a receiver. And you don't often see the short side corner on a blitz, but Pat Watkins there too.
No, Watkins and Young.
Yeah.
They're sending everybody. Ricky Schmidt, the former Rough Rider, with the boot. And Patrick Robertson once again on the return. Up near midfield, where he gets stacked up. 45-yard boot, 13 on the return. Mike Riley at the controls when we come back. And more on Riley from Farhan Lalji coming up.
You need a car.
Mike Riley established himself as a #1 quarterback in Edmonton last year, but feels even more confident about his status in year 2 with more. Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Chris, and a big reason for that confidence is a new contract extension that Riley signed this week, and it really signified that this is his team and in many ways his franchise. I spoke to Jarius Jackson, his quarterback coach right now. Jarius worked with him earlier in his career in BC, and he says that Mike is a completely different player between then and now. He said back then he was completely erratic, and when he first got the keys to the car here in Edmonton, he felt like he had to do way too much, always wanted to get the ball downfield, wasn't content with making underneath plays, and he always felt like he had to show that he could play at a high level in this league. But that has changed this year. He's much more calm. Even the Lions coaching staff, who watched him so closely back then, they believe he's a much more polished player, and you can really tell that the team has a completely different level of confidence in their quarterback this year than they did at this time last year.
Well, some coaches call it being the point guard. Just there's Jarius Jackson now in the Edmonton staff, just to distribute the football. And Riley mentioned that to us yesterday in the meeting that we had with him, that he's got a lot of options in this offense, and he wants to get the ball in the hands of the guys that can make something happen with it.
A lot of options here. 1st and 5. Pressure off the edge. Riley got it away, but Shamad Chambers held up in his route as he was covered by Cord Parks.
Shamad Chambers asked Riley about, can he take another step this year? And he said actually he feels real comfortable with him. Now they were a little off on that one. I'm sure they'll talk about that on the sideline, but they live in the same building. In fact, Shamad Chambers will come down to his quarterback's place a little bit, his condo, and say, hey, got any food in the fridge or anything like that? And they hang out. They worked out in the offseason together, trained together, trying to create some of that chemistry.
2nd and 5. Big Hill drops off. The pass for Chambers. He's drilled by March, but holds on, and it's a 1st down. And there's a sign that'll earn the confidence of a quarterback.
Well, absolutely. And that last throw that they missed on the seam route, I saw the frustration with Riley, and he he's going to talk to him, but this shows that he has confidence in Shamad Chambers, because in a crucial second down, went right back to him, hit him on the sideline for the first.
42 catches, 465 in his second year. He has a pair of catches in the opening half tonight. Fresh set of downs, and Thomas takes the handoff, bumps it inside, and is tackled at the 42-yard line. Elimimian was there, and a late flag, and it looks like it's going against 56 of the Lions.
Now, I don't think there was any intent here from Solomon Elimimian.
Major foul, face mask. BC number 56. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
First of all, Mike Riley, there's Tyler Thomas. Mike Riley's going to make a block for him on this play, but Solomon Elimimian with a hard hit. I thought it was going to be helmet-to-helmet contact here, and they called it face mask because he went up high and then went and pulled Tyler Thomas back opposite direction.
Cost the Lions 15, first down. Riley, look out, drilled. Hammered off the edge by Josh Johnson.
Well, you know, Riley's checking out here on protection assignments, and who missed? The linebacker coming off the edge. Josh Johnson steps up. Oh, it's Tyler Thomas.
And he told us a story about this yesterday.
Yes, he did.
He picked up that blitz when Riley wasn't sure in the preseason, and he said that would give him confidence in games like this, but back to square one.
And Calvin McCarty has been put in the backfield.
The loss of seven, second and 17. Pressure, and now they'll call the screen, and McCarty belted after a short gain at the 35-yard line. They're fired up there as Jabbar Westerman with the tackle.
So Tyler Thomas will go to the bench and discuss protection assignments. Calvin McCarty comes in, and to try and change things up, they go to a screen to McCarty. Don't have time to really set it up because Kareem Smith is right in the face of Riley immediately.
Yeah, we've said that a couple of times already. 42-yard field goal attempt for Grant Shaw. And Shaw puts it up and through. And it's a one-point game here midway through the second quarter at BC Place Stadium. On CTV with Brian Bulkey and Greg Voigt. We're trying to get into that show.
Yeah.
Diakowski gets on Jeopardy, but no luck for the other Ticats on The Amazing Race.
Only good on Jeopardy just after the answer has been given.
Stephon Logan on the return is
Stephon Logan the return. Kevin Glenn with a one-point lead, getting last-minute instructions from Kahari Jones. The much-traveled Kevin Glenn, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Hamilton, Calgary, and now BC.
Well, one way I think they can sort of kickstart this offense after a good first quarter is to get 33 and 10 involved again. Their twins package, or twin set they call it.
They'll fake to Logan and go to the other way. Courtney Taylor's got the catch. Both Taylor signing extensions this week for BC. We've talked about Eric, and there's Courtney Taylor, who comes in as the leading incumbent receiver on the BC Lions with 774 last year.
Started all but one game for the Lions last year. And you're right. Beyond that, Sean Gore's got some experience. His fifth year in the league, but
second and 2. Pressure off the edge again. Downfield, and the pass is incomplete. No surprise that Chris Jones is sending plenty of pressure.
Well, lots of pressure and good against the run. I mean, this was an area where they had problems last year. The Edmonton Eskimos were not able to stop the run. Easy for me to say. But you can take a look at the stats. Last in most categories defensively against the run. You knew Chris Jones was going to come into Edmonton and fix that up. BC Lions have 11 yards rushing tonight.
Pat Robertson back from his 21. Down the sideline, steps out at the 32-yard line, and that's where Mike Riley and company will go back to work with just over 6 minutes left in a good first half. And sees the Eskimos trail by a single point. Talk about rankings. The Eskimos 7th in points last year. They were a better pass team than rush team. Were last in the league in rushing touchdowns, and they were 7th in the league in sacks allowed. Protection, the issue that they were emphasizing. It was a problem on the last series. Fake to Thomas, swing it to Bowman, and Ford Parks was tracking him.
The way Edmonton on this series to start this drive is to try and control Kareem Smith a little bit. He's been giving him all kinds of problems, so they go with a little play action to hold him at the line. See, Kareem Smith has to kind of shuffle down to take care of any run responsibilities first. That'll slow his pass rush a little bit. Riley's seen 94 in his face for most of this first half.
So no gain on the 5th catch of the evening for Darius Bowman. 2nd and 10. Thomas leaves the backfield, the pass for Chambers, and he is cut down quickly. There's Josh Johnson again, taking over from the veteran Corey Banks, making the tackle on Chambers.
Out of Purdue, Corey Banks now with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I stand by my tweet for the record, but Josh Johnson, he's made a couple plays. Came on a blitz, had a nice sack, and on a protection issue by the Edmonton Eskimos, and then makes a play on Shamot Chambers to force Edmonton to punt.
There's Logan. Good downfield coverage by the Eskimos. 37-yard punt. We talked to the head coach about his new starting quarterback.
He's been everything I could dream of in terms of he's been a great teammate. He's intelligent. He's a 14-year vet. Great person. Always has a great positive attitude. And the most important thing is he's a winner. He could operate the offense. He has very outstanding understanding of the offense, accurate, and really just a winner. And just a guy that is resilient too, because he's gone through a lot of things throughout his career and his life. And you know, he's kind of got that resilient kind of guy that you want to really root for.
Throws that one away, almost tracked down by Burnett, but it was a free play with the Eskimos offside. And he told us yesterday, Kevin Glenn, even though he's a newcomer, the veteran can let players around him know when they've made mistakes, and he's not afraid of letting guys know when they've made mistakes.
Offside. Edmonton number 45. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, he's been around a long time, and he knows the offense. He's worked with Kahari Jones before, and got a quick release. The only knock on Kevin Glenn throughout the last 2 years when he was a Calgary Stampeder was whether or not he could win that big game. And that's what Stampeders fans will say, but he might not be asked to here in BC.
Here's Andrew Harris. Good run straight ahead into Eskimo territory. Down to the 52-yard line for Andrew Harris as they try to establish that run game.
Might not have to. About 6 weeks. Travis Lulay be ready to practice with the team in 4 to 6 weeks, and the second half may be available. And I know Edmonton fans are saying there was another big trade this century.
Yeah,
but
that might have been the trade of the century.
That might be the trade of the century too.
12 for Harris and a first down. Back in Andrews' hands. The Winnipeg native got another first down, tripped up from behind. Saving more damage was Eric Samuels, who takes over from TJ Hill at a linebacker spot for Edmonton.
This is a confidence cut for Andrew Harris. And what I mean by that is young running backs and running backs without this kind of confidence would hit the hole, hit the play side, and then try and make something happen from there. But Harris had so much confidence, he bent that back to the backside of the play quickly and picked up nice yards.
Stretching out a little bit after the last run with Bill Rochelle over there to make sure everything's okay. Glenn gonna air this out on Sean Gore, and he can't bring it in. Sean Gore with coverage from Joe Burnett and Aaron Grimes. Final play before the 3-minute warning here at BC Place. Opening half of football here on the West Coast. And the convincing win by the Calgary Stampeders in the first half of our CFL Saturday doubleheader. After the incompletion, 2nd and 10. And Glenn steps up and fires. Open man, Sean Gore. Sean Gore's stats have declined in each of the last 3 years, and there's a sense around this Lions team that he's going to get going again. And it looks like it today.
This is exactly how you execute this type of pass play, this type of route, because you need a passing lane to get that curl in there. They got that. There's your passing lane. So protection is excellent by the BC Lions. Steps up by the quarterback and Kevin Glenn. That way he can keep the ball low, throw it right between the 8 and the 5.
18-yard gain. Rolly Lambala in at the fullback spot. Glenn flushed as the completion. Harris back in, wrapped up by Rennie Kern and tossed down at the 15.
Andrew Harris has this incredible balance. I've seen him do this 3 times in the game already, and you've seen it throughout the last couple of years. Watch his wide base when he catches the ball. Comes out of the backfield here. Now he's going to get hit initially after Glenn kind of scrambles with it. Drops it off. Look at his wide base. Feet get out there, so that initial tackler is going to fall off him, keeps his base.